You and I have very limited information compared to Elon Musk and his team. As much as I study, as much as I try to do deep analysis of economic trends and what's going on at Tesla, there are only a few rare individuals on Earth who have the kind of inside scoop that Elon gets. Maybe like the top leadership at other major companies. They could have the kind of incoming data from suppliers, from customers, from government officials, from economic experts that we just don't have. Well, then Elon, on top of that, has some of the very top talent in the entire world to help him analyze that data. But so do his major competitors. The issue is, what do you do with that data? Well, this is Randy Kirk. We're going to be talking about what he does with that data and why it's genius. And if you like that kind of content, then you need to like this particular episode. And then, of course, I'd love to have you subscribe and hit notify. If you look down below, I show you future episodes that are coming up. That gives you more reasons to hit the notify button. And then join Patreon. $5 a month would really go a long way towards helping me pay for the expenses associated with this particular output of content. All right, let's dive into this concept here. Why is Elon Musk such a genius? Why are they going to be studying him for years into the future? Well, you see, Elon Musk tells us what he thinks that some of the data says and what he's going to do about it. He tells us in advance. In fact, it tells him, and he's already told us, that he thinks that it's very likely that we're going to have very rough economic waters going into the rest of this year and even into next year. And then come spring next year, probably we're going to be coming out of it and things are going to be looking all happy and expectations will be raised and the market will be going good and people will be buying cars. So he tells us all that. Where does he get the information? Well, that's kind of my opening was, well, he's got information that you and I don't have. Now, I could come to those same conclusions. You could come to some of those same conclusions from the data that is available to us in terms of interest rates and inflation and the kinds of the trends that are coming on and listening to the calls for various large corporations that might give us some of these clues. So the market is going to be going sideways to down until sometime in the third quarter. That's what I think Elon is thinking. And then we'll start a new bull. In the meantime, the folks, you and I, we'll be really careful about whether we make large purchases. And sometime in 2024, we'll take our collective hands out of our pockets and we'll start to spend again. The Fed will have eased interest rates by then, and folks will have adjusted to the higher interest rates anyway. Well, I pulled out a book over here that I wrote a very long time ago, and I've rewritten it a couple times since then, but I never published it again. And this particular book was called Getting Rich in the Recession, the Bicycle Retailer's Guide to Getting Rich in the Recession. And I looked to see what was my advice even then with regard to what to do in a recession. What do you suppose it says to do? Well, it says you should build up your cash ahead of a recession. You should get rid of debt before a recession. This is if you're a business owner, maybe as a consumer too. Then build up your cash, get rid of debt, reduce your costs and your cost of goods sold. Then drive your competition out of business by putting on sales, promotions, and other marketing efforts. You increase your market share and you come out stronger than when you were going in. Does any of that sound familiar? So Elon has been building up his cash. He's been eliminating all debt. Then as we get into the year where things are getting tighter and tighter, he puts out a massive sale and lots of other marketing activity, whether that's him going on various channels and shows and whatnot and being interviewed, whether that's all the stuff that's going on Twitter. But whatever it is, all these kinds of marketing efforts are taking place. And what is he trying to do? He's trying to dramatically increase his market share. In fact, he's planning to go up another 50% above last year in terms of overall cars sold, which means he'll be picking up 50% more market share against the overall market. All right. Well, so you could take another 20% price drop and go to essentially zero margins, and Tesla would still be doing okay. They would have a break-even proposition. If they went down to those 20% margins, they would be profitable, but their total cash flow, their free cash flow would be a negative 8 billion. So they would be profitable 8 billion, but all of that would be used up by their capital expenses, the new stuff that they're building, all the factories they're building. And so they would have a negative $8 billion in terms of free cash flow. Now, that would still leave them with $16 billion in the bank, which isn't too bad. I'm sure that that's not what they're going to do, because guess what? If you drop the price another 20%, the line for people to buy Teslas will be from California to Chicago or even further. So I would expect prices to be moving around a lot over the next 6 months, 7 months, but they'll be moving up, they'll be moving down a little. They're not going to even go down another 5%, much less 20%. So that would be off the table. That would be just crazy time. So Elon has a lot of detractors now, and some think that he should advertise. And I'm doing a video tomorrow with a very, very, very deep dive into that subject. I'd be okay with some advertising, and you'll see the kind of advertising I recommend. But the cost cutting has a huge impact on consumer perception. It's not the same as advertising. It creates a new perception in the mind of the consumer. But that impact takes time. It's not immediate. Everybody doesn't wake up one morning and go, oh, we just found out that Tesla has cut prices. Shoot, I was at a wedding the other day where I was asking people if they knew, it was actually on the 20th, I was asking people whether or not they knew that Starship had launched that morning, and most of the people had no idea that Starship, they didn't know what Starship was, must have had been launched. Such a huge event as that, people didn't even know about it. So you can imagine that a price change on a Tesla automobile, even if you advertise like crazy, it takes a very long time for the average Joe or Jill to figure out that there's been a price decrease. So you have to use marketing approaches and marketing techniques. And mostly what you're going to have happen is people that are somewhat interested will continually go to the website. They'll check it out. And as they see the price dropping, they're like, oh, now I can afford it. And they jump in. Certainly, I know that's what I would do. Is that what you would do? Let me know in the comments below. So what's going to happen right now this year, what we're watching take place, is another MBA course in how to run a business that is going into a recessionary year. Build up your cash, get rid of debt, lower your cost of goods, lower your overhead as a percentage of all revenues. And then as you're going into the recession, if you've got the capacity, if you've got enough material, if you've got the ability to do it, run a bunch of sales. And when you run those sales, the price comes down, it increases the TAM, more people buy them. And when you come out of recession, you're not going to have dramatically more market share. And somebody lost that market share. Your competition is the one that lost that market share. So they're going to be the ones that are going to be suffering. Some of them may not be able to stay in business. So if you're in the situation as a business owner right now, you could apply this to your own business. If you're just a stockholder, please understand the company that you are enjoying being an investor in has leadership that knows what to do when going into a recession. And I believe this will be taught for years into the future. Remember, I am not an investment advisor. This is for your entertainment value only. But I would like you to hit the like button. I would like you to also subscribe. That'd be great. It helps the channel. And then when you hit the notify button, that helps you to remember to come in and watch the next one. And if you hit the notify button, please come in and check it out when it does happen, because that also helps the channel. And then obviously, if you could do the Patreon thing, that would be wonderful. I've really enjoyed this today. Enjoyed talking to you. Bye-bye.